Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. And today, I'm going to be reviewing a martial arts film. Yep, it's a rather obscure title, of course. This is the one I'm talking about. It's cheaply made, it's low budget, of course, and it's rather old. This is going to be a review for the American version. Now, we all know the dubbing isn't exactly going to be good, really. Just getting that out the way. So, of course, as usual, I do have to talk about the plot. So, let's just get into it, shall we? So, in this flick, we get to see that the main character must protect the Shaolin temple from a trailer from within its own order, I guess you would say. Kind of like an undercover kind of a thing going on here. So, the Silver Fox has turned up the heat against Shaolin, but the main character and the holy warrior monks must stand firm or die fighting. So you have to do something this very moment and stand your ground, so to speak. Do or die kind of a situation here, folks. So, of course, it gets rather insane as it goes, of course. So, yeah, our main character, he's supposed to be this brave and righteous student of Shaolin. So when he's framed for a series of murders within the Shaolin temple, he is forced to flee, of course. Once outside the temple, he must fight for his life and prove his innocence at the same time. With a price on his head, and of course, there's going to be a ton of assassins, bounty hunters, you name it, after him. So, of course, meanwhile, however, there's this evil emperor character and his equally bad sister are out to destroy the Shaolin Temple and all of his followers for some reason. So, yeah, that's basically the overall summary of the story, I guess you would say. And I can say that this was a pretty good film. I did like the villain, I guess you would say. The villain of the story is a good bad guy, I guess you would say. So yeah, it's kind of like a good guy, bad guy fighting each other kind of a thing. Which, of course, after a while, it kind of became typical for this kinds of stuff. But that's fine. So yeah, there's a pretty solid cast of old school martial art fighters in here, folks. So I did like the energetic performances from the main character as he's is wrong accused as a student of Shaolin. So he's charismatic in his own way. The main actor is definitely a pretty good one, folks. So I did like this film. It's a pretty good film as a whole because I did like that there's plenty of action, of course. It's fast paced. I did like the style of the fighting, folks, of course. Some of the fighting is actually quite good. Some of it does better than others, I guess. As a whole is really well executed because there's tons of ways of martial arts, of course, obviously. And I did like how that we see our main character really show his strikes and skills with a staff. He does fight, with an empty-handed at times before facing off some of the, I guess you would say, other bad guys. He takes on some of the villains, some of the people, some of the fighters we get to see with, swords and shields. There's definitely a variety of weapons in this movie, of course. I think that's pretty cool in its own little way. So it's like hand-to-hand combat, along with a mix of, weaponry in some degree, I guess, which is actually good, of course. I did like that. There's a good display of fighting skills in here, folks. So the film makes good use of displaying that on screen. So I did think it was fast-paced, as I was saying. Nothing is slowed down too much to make it boring. So that's definitely a good thing there. And as for the acting, there's some pretty good acting, I guess. Again, especially from the main character. The main character, the actor who plays the main character is definitely a real good actor in this. I've seen him in other movies before, folks, of course. So yeah, this is the guy I'm talking about, folks. Yeah, he's been in other martial arts films before, so that's definitely a good thing there. So, but the thing is that the version I've seen is that it came up too blurry at some point. It just came off. It was a bad transfer from the VHS tape. So yeah, I kind of wish they could have found a better print. Of course, yeah, the print that I've watched came off. There was some areas it was chopped up. It came off like it was heavily edited in some ways, which isn't surprising. A lot of these American companies that tend to censor stuff. So how much exactly? I wouldn't be surprised if it was a lot, but I couldn't measure it really because I have not seen the original version of this film, which I wouldn't mind if I got my hands on it someday. So anyway, so the audio of here, the audio rest here is pretty okay, I guess. So anyway, I was still able to see a decent amount of the film, so can't really complain too much, I guess you would say. So anyway, I don't want to get too much into details to avoid spoilers, of course, but let's just say this film is pretty solid. It was pretty good in a lot of ways. There was some aspects I did like, of course, like the fighting, for example. So this does have a pretty good story as a whole. The story itself isn't overly complicated, and nor is overly simple. It's just the right amount, I guess you would say. It doesn't get to the point where it becomes stupid in some ways, which it isn't, thankfully. So I can say that this is definitely worth your time. If you have not seen this film, I'll say I give it a recommendation. And if you haven't heard of this film, well, now you do. Because I like going into obscurity, especially when it comes to old movies. And I have reviewed a lot of old movies, and I will continue to do so. So I will review as many as comfortable films as I can before moving on to something else, I guess you can say, folks. So why not, I suppose. I'd say that the music, assuming that the music is from the original version, is actually pretty good, I guess you can say. It does its job, I suppose, to make it seem exciting and whatnot. So that's pretty good there. I like the locations. It's really trying to give you a sense of what this is supposed to take place in, which of course is a positive thing, obviously. So anyway, I'll give this film an overall rating of a 7.1 out of 10. You can say 7.1 out of 10 for me. And as always, thanks for watching and take care. Until next time, oh yeah.